Yo, how's everybody doing, man? Today we're gonna be talking about television, and this is book. It used to be read a lot during high school. A book that was picked for literature, but not anymore. It was called Fahrenheit 451, and there's a message in the story that most people go over, and they don't realize how strong that message is. It's more, it's a subtle message, and the thing is, in every house, there's TV screens all around. And nowadays, if you look at it, everybody has a TV. If they don't have a TV, they have a phone. If they don't have a phone, they have a computer. They have a screen that sends them information. And most of this information we don't request. Most of this information we're not looking for. We receive it, and we don't even know what to do with it. We receive it, and we are manipulated by it. And people don't notice that, people, they watch TV and they're like, oh, this doesn't impact me at all. They'll just go on with their day. But it does impact you in some way. It might be very subtle, or it might be, very impactful to you, to your life, to your energy, because that's what we are. We are energy. We are frequencies. And the energy that we receive, the information that we receive carries these energies, carries these frequencies. And it does take a toll in our life, either a good toll or a bad toll. And that we have to be very careful. We have to be very careful with what we are consuming. And so, going back to this book, this was this firefighter, but the thing was, the firefighters in Fahrenheit 451, their goal was just to burn books. And so no one would read books, and all of old history would be removed, erased, so you could manipulate it. And that's what we see nowadays. No one has books. No one wants to read books. And now, if like everybody knows, Wikipedia, you can just change some stuff up, and boom, you change history. And so now we won't know what history really is. Now we're just, again, manipulated by whatever we consume, whatever information we are given through these screens. When we go on Instagram, when we go on the TV and just scroll through channels, we're not looking for information specifically. We just go on it, and whatever we consume, we just consume. There's some ways to go about it in a healthy manner, like everybody does want some form of entertainment. I get it. But you don't want to be entertained by an artificial screen your whole day, your whole life. If you like watching movies, yes, go and watch the movie. If you like watching your sports, go and watch your sports. But if you're doing it all day, every day, well, you're just going to be vulnerable to whatever you see. You have the advertising, the commercials, and that you have to be very careful. One thing I do is whenever there's commercials, just mute the TV. You're going to realize that once you mute the TV, you're not looking at it anymore, and you're going to start looking around you and be aware and start talking to whoever's around you. On the contrary, if you don't mute the TV, you're just going to look around if you are able to, be aware during that time. And you're just going to look and see that everybody's just staring at the screen. And it's going to be some dumbass commercials about Ozempic, some dumb commercials about some pharmaceutical companies or whatever it is, beer, alcohol, anything. And everybody's just staring at it. And again, we didn't turn the TV on to watch commercials, so just mute it. I would honestly love if there'd be a way where you could turn the TV off during commercials and it will just turn back on with audio once your game's back on, or whatever you actually do want to watch. That'd be something cool. It's in the works. I'll make it work one day. But anyways, yeah, it's something that we have to be very careful, because our consciousness does drop when we are consuming information, especially from our artificial screen. We're not really that aware. And so that's why commercials are very effective. They catch you in an unconscious state, and you just keep on staring. You keep on listening to this audio, and whatever they offer you, again, you're just receiving it unconsciously, and you're more likely to welcome that information as good information, because you're not judging if it's good or bad. You're unconscious. So whatever you consume, it's going to be trapped inside your mind. But those are other points. Yeah, we have to know that we have to limit our time with these screens. We have to use them for good, obviously, and sometimes for leisure. Relax, watch a movie, watch your sports or whatever. But we also have to know that if we're consumed by this 24/7, that we're not living a real life. We're not actually getting to enjoy what life really offers, because TV is something extra. TV is not real life. We have to be, our happiness comes from space. It doesn't come from things. Because if happiness came from things, then the material world would be a real world. It would actually make sense to buy stuff to make you happy. But we know that's a trap. And we know people have suffered and will suffer and continue suffering from it. So the paradigm shift from happiness coming from things to happiness coming from space changes the totality of things. You have to actually allow space to be happy. It's kind of easier to be happy with less things because you're allowing more space. You're not being overwhelmed. You're not being overstimulated. And so it'd be just looking at a tree and seeing it move. You're not happy because of the tree. You're just happy because of the space that allows you to be aware of whatever's going on, of nature's beauty. And it's just some things that we have to look at, because the reality is that people are suffering. People are more suicidal than they were before. People are more depressed than they were before. And if we admit that, then we have to also admit what things are we doing that cause these diseases, these mental diseases, cause these problems that we could easily just resolve if we admitted whatever we're doing, whatever habits we have are not healthy. And again, just like Fahrenheit 451, your TV is your whole room, your whole living room. You're consuming information that they are sending you. This is also going into the psyop stuff. Politics, people turn the TV on and just watch the news. That's probably one of the worst habits you could have in this modern day. It's just negative energy. And like I said, we are energy, we are frequency, and if we're watching negative energy, we are consuming it. Same thing goes with scary movies. The emotions that you feel from those scary movies aren't like, oh, I finished watching that movie, the energy and frequency is gone away. No, it's still inside of you, and you didn't notice. And you won't notice, but people will notice. People will read that energy. I would say the worst people I've came in contact with really loved scary movies. They would watch scary movies every day. And those people carried the most negative energy. All they would do was talk trash and just want to do stuff that was not healthy. And there's not just one example. There's multiple examples of this. And the people that watch the politics, they're all consumed by negative energy, and all they talk about is politics. And politics has nothing to do with your life. But again, they are consumed unconsciously by this stuff. They take it personally. They make it part of their life, their personality. And so all they had to do would be just turn the TV off and forget about politics, forget about CNN and Fox, and actually live the real life. Actually enjoy, feel the wind, go outside, walk, be with people, be conscious, and actually have good energy. Go and do fun stuff with people, and not, carry this negative energy, this negative field that is only caused by what you watch. So again, be very careful with what you watch. Be very careful what's on your TV, what's on your screens. Kids, especially parents, do not give your kids a screen and just let them roam around. They are going to be vulnerable to whatever they see, and if you don't control that, well, then start praying is all I could say. The psyops of Love Island, of even sports. Like I watch sports. Like I love football, man, but I can't let it get to me personally, emotionally. With Love Island, with porn, with everything, with the news, it's all meant to create negative energy and destroy our lives, diminish the enjoyment that we can enjoy from the real world. Really, there's no other way to put it but that. And so backing away and being able to turn your screen off, having self-control, because people are scrolling, and damn, like I'll be honest, sometimes I do get caught scrolling, and I know I don't want to because I'm here preaching that no one should do it, and sometimes it does get to me, and I'm like, what? Like how is it so addicting? How can I get entrapped to this? And sometimes I reflect, I'm like, yo, whatever I just watched, first of all, I don't remember, and secondly, you know, there were some stuff that was not good for me, so why was I watching it? Again, you know, it just things to look out for, bro. Be careful. Be careful. Be conscious. Be aware. Enjoy the real life. Step away from the screen. Like I said, if you're gonna watch, if you're gonna indulge in, you know, screen time, make sure you're only watching what you really want to watch. So if it's sports, mute when there's commercials, and once the game's finished, turn it off. Turn this, you know, try to have your screens off the most time you can. You know, if you're not using it, turn it off. You know, if you're with your friends, put your phone farther away. Don't have it face up. So every notification you get, even though it's Uber Eats giving you a discount, you know, just turn those notifications off too. Like the apps that aren't notifications of messages or phone calls, turn those notifications off. The emails of just, again, subscriptions and sending you offers, unsubscribe from it. Try to clean your phone. Try to remove all distractions from your life. And that will help you a lot. That will help you a lot to be focused and to live the real life. And that's what I want you to do. That's what everybody should do, because we're just gonna live a better world, man. And that's all I gotta say for today. Peace.